I think so. So I'll just let down if it's.
Yeah.
Great. I think we're ready. So good afternoon, everyone. Super excited to see so many people here to learn about security. My name is Jake Silzer. I am a cryptocurrency security evangelist. I also work at Ripple as an information security TPM, and I'm also a cryptocurrency security standard auditor with C4. C4 is a nonprofit organization made up of cybersecurity and crypto security experts, and also we're all volunteers as well. And today, we really want to speak to you about the cryptocurrency security standard and what it means to bring security, more security within the space. And today, I'm joined by two amazing panelists, Marlene and Petri, and I'll let them both do their own introduction.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name's Marlene DeHart, and my background is in cybersecurity. I have over 20 years of risk assessments, IT audits, forensics, and secure architecture and design across financial services, public and private sector.
Afternoon, everyone. So Petri Basson. My background is finance and IT. Used to be at KPMG, did SOC audits, cybersecurity audits for a lot of different entities. And these days we're working with a lot of different DAOs and foundations on their corporate governance, working on DAO operations, and then also compliance and sort of security for different entities.
Wonderful. And Petri, as a CCSS chair, can you give us an overview of what the CCSS is?
Sure. So I think the CCSS at a high level is a standard that's been created around private keys and how do you secure private keys. The origin of this was, I think, a lot of people in the security industry seeing different hacks happen, realizing that we need a standard for this. We have certain security standards out there, SOC 1, SOC 2, ISO, etc. But when you look at those standards, they don't really talk about private key security specifically. So the CCSS was created by different cryptocurrency and security specialists. We've got a very good roster of people working on it. So we've got a few security people, Jameson Lobb, that a lot of people might know, Ron Stoner, who's also with CASA. Then you've got Michael Perkins. He's worked as CISO of Shapeshift, and Dirk Anderson that has a lot of experience. But you also have people with audit experience. So personally, I used to do SOC audits for companies, looked at custodians, etc. We've got Noah Buxton, who works with the network firm. He's an auditor. Yev Poshevan with Hacken. And then we've got Mark Krishanos. He's also an auditor. So it's a mix between people with really strong cyber crypto experience and auditors that created this standard to help people.
Wonderful. Yes, it's great to have such a mixture of people involved in trying to secure the space. Marlene, you were actually a cryptocurrency security standard auditor. Can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to become an auditor?
Sure. My story goes back to 2018. So at the time, I was working at Visa as a chief security architect. And I did a concept project using digital wallet and blockchain with integration with the VisaNet to solve the problem of fraud with prepaid cards. And so I started exploring different standards for blockchain and looking for technical requirements for my design. Came across a conference and a workshop for the CCSS that was being held in Denver. So I went to, I think it was the first CCSS workshop, and Ron Stoner was the trainer, and I got exposure to it and decided to become an auditor.
Wonderful. I guess, what do you see as the importance of the CCSS?
Well, I think you had mentioned also having some audit experience, and I also have done SOC audit, PCI, HIPAA, various regulatory audits. And the thing that I really like about the standard is that it really augments and supplements specific in areas that matter, such as key management, wallet creation, and operational controls. And even though those requirements can be found in other frameworks or other standards, such as NIST, It's a very end-to-end comprehensive controls framework that's immediately usable. And for that reason, I really was able to have that into my, incorporate that into my design. So I think that's probably one of the best reasons that
Wonderful.
I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a very easy to digest standard. I think anyone in the crypto space could really take a look at it and learn quite a bit and know kind of what the end-to-end process should be for securing a private key. I guess, Petri, as a user of different cryptocurrency service providers, like exchanges and custody providers, why should I care whether they're CCSSA certified or not?
I think maybe just to tag on to what you were just saying, because we're talking very high crypto security, we're talking about corporations doing it, but as you just said, it's a very accessible standard. So even if you're doing your own private keys, we've got the levels, etc. So even for individuals, it's very useful, just for the things to consider when you're doing self-custody. To answer your question, I think for anyone using an exchange, we've always had that principle of trust but verify. At the moment, a lot of it is trust with no verification. So that verification is very important. But as an exchange, I can't open up my doors to anyone to come and have a look at my security, explain to them how that works. So that's where if you've got an independent auditor, someone like Marlene, who comes in, they look at all of those controls, they verify that you're actually doing all the stuff that you're saying on your website, because anyone could put a lot of stuff on a website, say that they're doing it. And then what we have in the CCSS is also a peer review. So it isn't just one auditor going in there, you've got a peer reviewer who verifies everything as well, which creates that trust over time then, because now you have independent parties that have come in, verify that all the controls are there.
Yeah, I love that. I love you don't have to kind of just have one person who's doing the verification, right? You have a quorum of individuals that are really going in and making sure that an exchange or a custody provider is meeting all of these different requirements. I guess from the flip side, as a service provider like an exchange or custody provider, why should I want to spend the time, the resources to pursue CCSS certification?
I think there's two sides to that. The first side is because this is an industry standard, this has been through the rigor, a lot of very smart people have worked on it. So if you're designing a private key management system, this is very important. So you can actually work through it, design a system that's very robust, very secure, takes into consideration a lot of different things. And the second side of this is more for your users to actually show that you have the confidence to get someone in to actually look at everything. You can have that all verified. So I think the one side is a design thing. The other side is almost a PR thing to be able to show to your users, give them that confidence.
Wonderful. And I guess speaking of the audit, Marlene, can you tell us a little bit about the audit process and the rigor that goes into an audit?
Yes, one of the things that I really love about the standard is that it requires a peer review. So as an auditor, I would conduct the initial audit, and then that audit result has to actually be peer reviewed by another CCSSA. And I have never seen any other regulatory framework or audit requirement that actually has peer review by another certified auditor that doesn't have bias and is also not affiliated directly with the organization. The way that the auditor is chosen is randomly for the peer reviews, so I think that builds in additional scrutiny and transparency.
Wonderful. You're also part of a working group currently where there's a team member working with different regulators. Can you talk about your experience and kind of what some of the goals are with the advocacy group?
Yes, and I want to go back to what you said. So another reason that I am participating in the advocacy group and why I also like the standard is that it's open source. So anyone can contribute. And you have industry experts, people who care about security and instilling safety and participating in these standards. And so it's meant to be scrutinized and to be improved by people who want to participate. So it's totally accessible that way. I think
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. So, anyone can really contribute to this open source standard. So if you're interested, you go read it, you think that we're missing something, I'd love it if you'd come and actually provide us some feedback on that as well.
Yeah, I think maybe to add on to that, as the CCSS committee, we take a lot of these recommendations and questions very seriously and have very long conversations about this. Proof of reserves is one really good example. We used to have a section on proof of reserves, but over time it sort of realized how much that actually takes and then removed proof of reserves from the standard completely. So we don't almost have that in there. We focus only on the security side of things, but also very open to people who have suggestions. If someone wants to help to write a proof of reserve standard, it is almost pooling that collective knowledge to strengthen the entire industry.
Yeah, and we meet weekly basically, and we have long conversations about things, and it's coming from a practitioner point of view, which I also like. So actually having experience or real world knowledge about what's going to work. There's different levels in the standard. I don't think we've talked about the levels. So there's levels 1, 2, and 3. And even just achieving a baseline controls with level 1 is respectable. And that's another thing I like, is that it lends itself to anyone who's adopting the standard to just establish the baseline controls and then also aim for improvements going up to level 3 if that's something that they wish to do.
Yeah, I agree. I think, for myself, I don't go out and do audits of the standard. But, with Ripple as a company, we do, custody people's crypto assets. And so it's been a very useful standard for me to kind of look at and see where we're meeting best practices or maybe where we can improve as well. So I think anyone who's kind of in a security role as well at a crypto-focused company can really get a lot of value from the standard. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to mention also that you can easily create a self-assessment from the standard. And so before you would even consider bringing in an auditor, just taking the standard and coming up with a self-assessment, I think is also very valuable.
I think maybe the one thing to add in here is we've also tried to make it easy for people to use because you've got the standard which talks about all the technical requirements, but we also have the auditor guide. Because not everyone out there is an auditor. You have some people that have cybersecurity, IT backgrounds, who also are interested in these things. And we've created that guide to actually help people through the process. Explain, what are you looking for? How are you getting evidence? How do you collect evidence and show that you've done all the different tests? So we've tried to make it very accessible to all different fields. You don't only have, auditors who can do this. If you're a cybersecurity expert and you've never done an audit before, there is a guide that can help you through the process.
Yeah, I want to touch on all of the free tools and resources. You just mentioned the audit guide, which is very helpful. There's also the standard itself, which is downloadable by PDF and also in an Excel form if you want that. It's pretty comprehensive. Basically, there's 3 high-level components to that. There's the key management, wallet creation, and operational controls. And there's also some amazing scenarios that when you're studying to become a CCSS auditor, that you actually look at the 4 scenarios, and it's really giving examples, real-world examples, and how you would actually take those scenarios and apply the standard for an assessment rating. So it allows you to think through things that have actually really happened. And there's, what else is out there for collateral?
We just released
free training.
We just released a level 1 training course.
Yep.
Actually, if you'd like to learn more about the cryptocurrency security standard. And for anyone who's attending ETHDenver, we do have a special coupon for a 20% discount on that up on the screen. So definitely recommend checking that out. Even if you don't want to go through that full training course, the standard is there on the website. You can read through all of it. If you do want to become an auditor, that's great. There's some other training material and just a test to become an auditor. But we really encourage everyone to participate in one way or another with CCSS because it's really, the strength of it is in the volunteers and the experience of the volunteers. Anything additional you would like to add or? No.
Follow the YouTube channel. There's a lot of good training there, and then there's also some training courses. And I think we might have to flip the slide here if you can see that we're offering a 20% discount.
It was shown a minute ago, but it looks like it's static on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, feel free to come up to us afterwards. We're happy to answer any questions and happy to give you that discount code if you missed it. But yeah, thank you everyone for attending. Thank you both Marlene and Petri as well. Really appreciate your time today and look forward to making the crypto spaces more secure for all of us.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Jake.